Good morning, happy people. Today's Wednesday, February 4th, and my name is Jay Song. Everything in this video is never financial investment or trading advice of any kind. Everything's just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast. Trading the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially beware against high leverage trading. Past performance is never indicative of future performance. All right, let's begin today. Man, that was a good reading. I like that story. All right, so where to begin? Where should I begin? All right, our first question is GALA. I'll just flash on USDT.D this morning. I woke up with a strong impression for, I believe, specific cryptos. There's going to be a lot of cryptos, but this isn't the bottom. In the dream, I was thinking this is a bottom, and I heard the words speaking to me saying, "This is not the bottom. Price is going to go much lower." And I heard that. I thought it was for a specific crypto, but the impression I got was it was more broader. It was a very specific dream, and so for about an hour, I was waking up towards 3 o'clock, and then went right back to sleep about 3 o'clock. I was left with that impression for another 30 more minutes, and I had already been left with the impression also around closer to 2 o'clock in the night. Did I tell you this morning, Melody? Okay, so I was just telling Melody, it's like, it's gonna go deeper. It's gonna go deeper, and it felt like it was for specific markets. Um, I really think it's gonna be certain altcoins that are gonna be going deeper. But that was my strong impression that I had at least an hour. That the bottom I was looking at wasn't the bottom. So I'm gonna put less weight on the bottoms that I see because of that dream. I'm going to put a little bit less weight on the bottoms I'm going to see. I'm going to be thinking deeper. Okay. Now, one of my general impressions already for USDT.D, just so you guys know, I use this map to get me most of the way there of what I need to be looking at. This map lets me know a lot of what's happening in the crypto world. Almost everything I need to know is on this map. If I'm reading it correctly. We were supposed to break out to the high side. There's a very, very big breakout in the season, and it's happened. It happened. So it begins January 31st. We got our nice breakout right there on January 29th on the daily chart. And then January 30th and 31st, we got a real small, strong, significant close with breaking any margin of error. So the first step was just getting closer to about right where we're above that line, and that was almost all we needed to know. But in any case, we knew we were going to be breaking, or we should have been breaking to the top side because of the whole grouping of all these candles as a whole was measured many, many times over the past many, many months, and all the signs we needed to see that we were going to be breaking to the top was already there. So sometime on January, we just had everything we needed to know right there on January 30th. So 31st was almost everything finished. I just put this big, because that's when people saw the bloodbath. But all of you guys are watching it. You guys been watching it in slow motion here, and here, which is a very big one. This one this is the one I put in my report from last month in January, where I said this is going to be one of the last best crypto prices. 5.7 is a strong floor. Is a strong floor for a bounce. This is not currently in play. If a move there would be bullish rejection and maybe really strong. So that's going to be something we're going to be looking at. Okay, so I think most of let me see something. Where's my other report? Here it is, January 14th. Okay, January 14th. I said 5.7, nail in the coffin. I think this is most of what I need you guys to know. The nail in the coffin will be above 6.628. The bounce. When price moves up into that area, crypto crash may very well be activated. 5.7 is the support discussed for a few months now. Price is now here. I would be looking for price to play here at least a few days in a row with targets near 5.58. Local health is 6.15. And where's that one I wanted to write? I think it was for, maybe it was for Bitcoin. Okay. This would be a strong bullish projection. Okay, yeah, I got lots of reports over the many months. We've been tracking it since October to go to the high side. Okay. But the data suggests a bounce near here, not a crash, but down on less. So back in October, we didn't expect the crash right then and there. The crash was supposed to begin after this. So I just want to leave you guys with just a few more thoughts regarding this whole situation. Although I believe we're going up here to 8, and there's a lot of reasons why I believe we're going to be hitting there sooner, probably rather than later. One of the big things I'm seeing is Bitcoin didn't fall as much as it should. Yeah. I thought Bitcoin would be a lot farther deeper down by the time we get to this number, which means I'm going to be looking more for supports at 71. Because at the current rate that I'm going, I can kind of project that we've only covered this much ground on Bitcoin. In the larger story, I would expect it a lot more, which means this support right here is still in place. So this is going to have a big impact on the market, I think. The first things you need to know about this area, if I pull up like a 2-week chart or a monthly chart, it's probably going to look a little bit clearer. So just a little bit of a market report. We have an average core in this area, and we got a lot of congestion in this area. We got wick match. The wicks kind of match right about here. In other words, they line up the averages. The problem is we've hit that area already once, and we did a nice bounce. I'll fade this away so you can see the exact number. You can see we hit this exact wick match area, and it launched us high. The next time we hit this wick match area was here, or very close to it, the other day. Okay, we got very close to this wick match area on November, and then we also got the other day in January 1st. We just kind of closed right there for the month. What my strong suspicion is that we actually are going to need to hit this next time. Okay, or this time. We hit the wick match area, bounced once. I think now we're going to hit the core, which is going to be underneath, going to be just right above at 71.98. Okay. Perhaps why Bitcoin is not falling so much right now is because it's trying to anticipate a landing. It does not have the full backing support of this angle, which is very big yet, and that's going to be part of the this. Okay, this is this angle, and it's correct. It's correct. It's straight. It's verified as a phantom on top, or if you're reading this as the key angle and the phantom on bottom, they're the same angle. Okay. So that angle is much deeper right now in these months, closer to 61,000. So although I think the market's coming down, there's supposed to be some kind of support here. And that means that we're going to need to find out what's going to be happening when we're underneath this angle. Okay. Will that thing be the thing that saves the market? Probably not. Probably not. In my opinion, I don't think that's actually going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be this that's going to save us. It already should have bounced us high, and it did. We came back down. If we're going to have support, it's going to be over these days. Okay, so perhaps this is why Bitcoin didn't fall so much, because it's the market's thinking, oh, we're gonna, there's still, this is a good price. This is a good price. That's what the market's maybe thinking. But I don't think this is going to be the thing that's going to save us. I think we're going to consolidate for a little bit. Time will tell. If we break out of this down move here, then we're going to start talking about that'll be the health, and then we can start talking about going up again. We need to be above this angle. Okay, get me above there, and then this will be in play. Okay, but right now it's not in play. Okay, we got to wait for the health. We hit our targets, so all the JSON target that we need to hit, it is hit. I already let you know it's 76,000 to 69. Current price today is 79,000. 79,000. Sorry, today current price is 75,906. So we're in that pocket of where we're looking to first take profit from the last areas where we're supposed to be getting down to. But that's going to be some of the big report. Ultimately, if all of these supports fail, which I think they will, if USDT.D is allowed to play up in the higher, closer to the 9s, I think we're going to lose this support at 61. I think if Bitcoin hits the 8, we're going to hit this solidly. If it gets above the 8s, we're going to really watch Bitcoin closely, and then we're going to look for us to fall to this support right here. Is price going to face through or bounce out? We're going to watch it in slow motion and see what will happen, what will become of these things. But based on how far we have fallen, it's not enough. I don't think we fall enough for what we're going to be doing. So therefore, we're going to be challenging in a few different events. One of the things I can see on, that was for a different crypto. One of the things I can see, I think is happening right now. There's something, I don't teach this the way that they teach it, that Gavin Holmes and Tom Williams teach this part, but they teach about thrust in falling markets, up thrust in rising markets. But they have these down thrusts where they're basically testing the market. It's somewhere in the realm of harmony where you're looking for the volume to keep increasing. If it does, on the challenge below, you're not ready to absorb the it tells you that you haven't absorbed the supply during that individual leg. So of this down move, you can see that we close off the low, but the volume's high. Then we come back again a few days later on the up bar, and we have still strong volume. Then we test down, and we still have high volume. Even though it's off the low, we're still having an increase in volume, and that means they're not done with playing in the lower parts. So I think Bitcoin's supposed to be playing lower based on this energy, still a lot of energy to the downside. Okay. And the health isn't anywhere near. So, again, like buying needs to be the last thing on our minds. Okay. There's only so much, there's so many people out there on the internet saying, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. People ran out of money for the salt, for the nachos, for the chips, for the dip. Okay, I told that to Melody yesterday. So people ran out of money for the salt, for the nachos, for the dip. They can't even buy the dip. They're out of what other people call dry powder. And nor I don't think they should be thinking right now to buy. If there's going to be a chance to buy, you need to let health come into the markets. There's going to be, I really think based on USDT.D, this is accelerating. This is my personal opinion. This is what I believe is the case. So we're going to have to watch these areas very, very carefully. At the very least, I think you're going to have some congestion. And we might be here for, again, it might be month or two. It might be very quickly. But once the next weakness shows up, it's going to be these following. 1. Number 2. Here, underneath this line. Okay. And number 3, once we get below these, I think we're going to have a straight shot to these vortexes. If it happens very quickly and we just happen to be underneath these, I'm going to be looking for a straight shot down to 50,000 and 47,000 Bitcoin. So somewhere underneath here, we're going to be looking to get to those weaknesses once these trigger. So again, the first one, it's going to be up here. The next one, that's going to be the next time we're going to want to be doing shorts on Bitcoin. And the next one's going to be here. Right now, what I would probably do is consider taking shorts on, what I would be doing is to consider taking profit on existing Bitcoin shorts. I'm in a few shorts on Bitcoin. My target is hit. What I did was I lowered my stop, and I'm trying to hit the more conservative target. So for mine, why is this higher? This needs to come down. I labeled it as 69. No, why? Hold on. Okay, I labeled as 69 as the low, so this needs to go back to where it was. I think I might have moved it out of the way. 69.9. and the top should be 76. There it is. So we're in the target zone. I may get out a little bit early if I'm looking for consolidation, but based on this volume, I'm probably going to hit it. I'm probably going to hit my exact number. So I want to hit somewhere right here, although I've already technically hit my target. On the low side, I want to hit that blue line. Okay, and I'll take a picture just so you guys know my specific number. But it's right there at the blue line. If it's hitting this week, it's somewhere around 71,498. So I'm going to be taking mine just a little bit higher. I think I'm going to squeeze out just a little bit more money. I already lowered my stops in profit somewhere about right here is where I lowered my stop. And then the similar with ACH. I think ACH has two targets. But because of the consolidation I'm looking to feel, there's going to be less money for me to make as a short on Bitcoin. What I mean by that is if I was to take this trade down to the bottom, there's not much money from 71 to 61. You know, there's about 10,000. Maybe I'd want to take that on a smaller time frame. But right now, I think there's too much risk for me. I don't want to be in this risk. I'm probably going to be looking at other stuff that's weak, and probably directing my trade there. I will want to take the shorts underneath this orange line as we phase through there. If we build through there, I would love to take it down to the target. That's going to be a nice juicy trade, $65,000 to $50,000, somewhere around there. I would like to take that trade. I would also like to take the trade underneath the target down to the larger $36,000. I would like to take those trades. But as of now, I'm going to be looking to get out possibly in the next day or two, maybe even today, as the volume keeps increasing. I think we're going to be on our way down for just a little bit, and then we're going to bounce around here a little bit. So that's going to be my biggest prediction. So if I'm going to kind of just draw it, it's going to look like that. And then I want to borrow one of these. I think we're going to get some volatility. So this is what this is going to be before I do the stuff in the market today. This is like my big thoughts on where we're at within the story. Does anybody have any questions for me regarding my opinions in the market? Go ahead. Good morning, Christian. It's very possible. It's very possible. And the instruction I would get from that Christian is probably I wouldn't buy. I wouldn't take any bullish trades. You know, you were not. The trend is your friend. It's a simple lesson, right? We learned that from other teachers over the years. In a downtrend, we only hunt those up moves. I'm going to be waiting at that moment hunting. I'll be chomping at the bit to take my next short. Any other questions? Superfood, I do see TKC. I'll fix that in just a moment. No, Superfood says it's supposed to be TKC. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? My thoughts, my opinion, what I believe is happening in this time of season. Just a few hours ago. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, back to USDT.D. USDT.D doesn't really show us stopping anywhere here until we get really to 8, at least that I see. I don't see this turning around. I see a shakeout candles forming, and that's generally a continuation. I think we're going to be hitting 8 quite easily, and we're probably going to be hitting it in the next few days. It's probably going to be the next few days. So I'll let that be like an energy to put Bitcoin over, and then I might consider Bitcoin shorts again. But in the meantime, I'm going to be looking for a lot of setups for possible shorts. We found a few on Saturday that were very close to weakness. We're going to be talking about GALA in just a moment, see if we can find one on there. People are requesting a lot of opportunities. There's candy. It's a candy store, free for all. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities. As I had a dream the other day that there was so much candy available for a lot of you guys, and you guys just weren't. I was with the dive community, And I think there was only like 1 or 2 people that was with me and Melody as we're just filling up our bags with candy. It was dark outside. It was dark. And it almost felt like it would be like a Halloween, but it wasn't Halloween. There was no costumes. But there was candy on the tables before us. And there was tables there, and I was just like, why is there not everybody filling up their candy? And there's people scattering, almost like they were afraid. And I was like, why is people afraid? Why aren't they filling up their bags with candy? And I woke up. And when I woke up, I thought about the market. I thought there's a lot of people who were scared to take shorts here. There was a lot. It was really easy to take this short down here. It was really easy to see large round action on top of that. We even called the exact number, right? We called the bottom. You guys saw this one for weeks. Just pull up my old videos. We saw that I told people this is the last best time for these types of crypto prices. That was the last of the bullish move. That was basically supposed to be not just a top, but almost the top, the last best time at those prices. And that means you're looking for those shorts. If you were people were waiting for the move to happen, I even give them this. I even hunted this down move for them, and I drew this. And when we were here, there was still a lot of people that were afraid to take shorts. You guys know who you are. I don't know who you are, but God knows, and you know. And you guys are afraid to try to, trade back up to the top and then continue the next trades. But all of this was in slow motion for us over the months, right? Since October, we've all known about these. We do round structures all the time for years, right? You guys are good at this kind of stuff, okay? You got it. This was like you had time to get some snacks. You had time to get some snacks. You had time to get some snacks. You guys have time to get some snacks. There's opportunities to get some snacks, and I want you guys to consider taking snacks if there's snacks available on the table. It's free. I mean, it's $53.43, and you guys can, drive on the freeway and get it. But there's a lot of opportunity. Now the bottoms here, the only support here. This is not a support that I know of. Triple J had this as a 7 number, but she often sees numbers as benchmarks. And over the years, I'm kind of looking at her numbers like benchmarks. So she had this prophetic 7. It's very possible we're just sitting on top of that. You can see we went up to the 7, came right back down to the 7. And so her number was hit, but in a single day from that moment. Or the very next day after we got the initial close. So letting you guys all know, there may be some more opportunities to short as we still got this move up to here. And then as Christian has had his own dreams where he saw 9+ numbers, my estimates might be the flat at 943. He saw 9+. So it's very possible we're going to be getting up here sooner rather than later. And then we're going to need to be looking at those structures. We're going to need to see. I got circle cluster target somewhere up here. And then the old flats. It's all over here. So it's some very, very large consolidation areas. It's very possible we may be up here a lot longer than we want to in the health. But these are the next big numbers I have for everybody. Okay. Yeah. It's about at the rate we're going. Uh-huh. Yep. Good. So Christian's saying he thinks it's going to happen a lot sooner based on his own analysis of the types of patterns that Christian's using. One of the easiest things I can see is in the realm of accelerated adjustment lines. This happened very fast, right? Okay. Just follow with me just for just one more moment, and then we'll move on. But this happened very fast. We went up in this area. Round structure once, and then we went up. In the grand scheme of things, that's pretty quick. The next move had a much larger round structure. Much larger than this round structure here. See the round structure here is much smaller. It's like the baby, then the granddad, and then we shot almost straight up. We're supposed to be moving faster now. We have a much larger structure to give us reason for that. For us, it's forming very much in slow motion, but you can see it's a large round structure that is available for us in that breakout. So once we crossed over there, it's the words I used was bloodbath, game over. A lot of your cryptos are going to be just down in the dumps probably for a while, and some of them are lost their large positions. You're going to see jumping ship for even accumulated cryptos by professionals. As we saw on the other day, we saw large exiting right at the places they're supposed to, right where they were entering. We can see them exiting in some of those same exact places. So it's very possible we're going to accelerate very fast. It makes a lot of sense. But how quickly will we get up to 9? Can we get up this month? It's barely the 4th of February. It's probably possible that this move may all happen very quickly. I don't know where we're going to end up. And I'm just going to be very, very honest with you. We're going to need to re-examine a lot of these charts once we're here. And we're going to be looking for, I'm going to be looking for round structure. I'm going to be looking for health. I'm going to be looking for money to come back into the markets. I'm going to be looking to see if I see it. Because if you see the big players and they're starting to get in, you're going to start seeing a rounding and you're going to start seeing health. Otherwise, if we are just buying those rejections, it can be very, very dangerous. Okay, if this comes down, your cryptos are going up. But if I see sharp only peak rejections, I don't know if I'm going to trust those moves. I don't think I have anything on here that warrants such a big thing. I don't really have, maybe the 8% if I'm rejecting in that peak, but even then, we're going to probably see some signs. As it is right now, based on the dream I just had just a little while ago, I think we still have more to go. And we're going to need to be watching, and we're going to need to be silent. Like the scripture we read today, Moses is, stand still, be silent, and stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord. And we're going to watch it. So 8's my next big thing, but because of Christian having his dream above 9, he has a good track record. He's a good TA. I think we're going to be up above those areas. Okay. I think we're going to be above. I think we're going to be near the flat. And that means we're going to be looking for something else. What happens after 9? I don't know. But we'll be back. We'll be back to look at those. I am going on vacation, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. I'm going to be going to travel. I'm taking a bit of a road trip, so keep us in your prayer. And but that's all I got for the markets. And I'm about to do some cryptos. Any other questions? Man, Christian, praise God. Um, I'm glad, Chris. You guys can't hear in the background if during the recording at this moment, but Christian was saying he was still remember when I prayed for him several years ago to start having more of these kind of prophetic revelations or what he's been having. So praise God, because I don't remember that exact moment. But okay, was it? Okay, maybe maybe the Lord was moving me, telling me to pray for him for that. Praise God. I don't remember all the people I prayed for, but I guess that means I must pray a lot for you guys. All right. Let's go. Let's go on. Saturday, we'd like to revisit SHIB for lower lows. Will it go to 00032? Yeah, Bev, we can take a look after superfoods. Okay. Jeff wants to look at his fluids. Ew. I'm not a doctor, Jeff, but I will. If you need. Okay. We're going to look at GALA. The question for GALA was, what is the best price to enter? What is the next best price to enter for shorts? Okay, so what is the next best price to enter for a short trade? Well, you guys know that I always have my eye on USDT.D. We already talked about that, but I'm going to be looking for that in the longer run to be just continuing to move for a bit. Unless until Bitcoin gives it some support, Bitcoin can help. But Bitcoin's got a little bit more to go, and then it's going to be volatility, not necessarily support. So let's look at GALA. Okay, I give numbers to those. So let's go back to look at GALA and see what we might find. GALA hit its target probably close to the middle. On January 31st, it looks like we made another target. It hit it within 2 days. Somewhere about right here, it hit its target. So we're well off the proper entries. The best entries we had was rounding structure into these areas, especially if we had high volume on the up bars. So here we got very, very high volume on the up bar into the weakness in a downtrend in the background. Let's take a look about the let's take a look at the foundational area. The foundational area is going to be up here, way in the beginning. We can see that's going to be a nice solid foundation area. We rejected once at those areas. We didn't get any new health, and we're out. We're leaving that window where we're now going to be dealing with two separate events, which is going to be the long yellow, this long downward movement. We're leaving that window as we are now going to be looking at these two angles to deviate farther and give us two different things to deal with. So the odds of us being in this health above this vortex above 0075 are very, very low now. So these are not, they're not in play anyway, but I'm going to just remove them from the map at this moment, okay? Because we're out of that window. Okay, there's times when I'll show you where to look, but what will happen is these get split up into two different events. Okay, so we stretch out this. And make sure you can adjust them if you need to. If you feel like you need to adjust them, just check for wick match on certain cryptos if you guys have it. Just like this window, this health would only be a real small. That one's gone, so we don't need to worry about that. We can also delete any accelerations that are not active at the moment, so that's not going to be active or valid. This one would be active here for the purpose of bouncing somewhere at this area or sword cut. So we can see we got the next weakness. We went underneath that area, right about where sword cut should be. So we're going to delete this one as well. And this is just me cleaning up the map. And so we're left with the main angle. If I take this main angle, you're going to actually see that the wicks line up very, very nice right now so far towards the bottom. So it's very possible we're going to need to do a line for the wick match. And if it was me, I would actually be trying to now short this to a more probably down here. So if I were to give myself another target to the low side, I'm actually going to be looking to for GALA to come down to possibly, if it's tomorrow, the number is 0.0046. So there's still some money to be made available. Let's take a look just quickly how much is possible. From current price, we're at 16%. So that's not so bad. 16% might be worth it before we hit the big support. We also notice that we're coming up to the next JSON target, which is somewhere about the vortex. And this is going to be where they're meeting. And this is going to be part of this larger area here, and then below that we're going to be looking also at another area that looks, it's a flat line. It's called the DP, and the DP, we're going to give you guys that number where the vortex is somewhere at 0.0029. Now the average DP is 0.0027 is what I wrote on my board, but these might be viable places for us. So Did I move that parabolic? I think I moved it lower. It needs to come there. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we got two vortexes we're going to be looking at. So we're going to give ourselves two possible targets. I don't know if them are both so much in play right now as much as I want, because again, the market may give us some consolidation on USDT.D. But if we are going to be looking for some further targets, they would be here. So let's just update these numbers. Again, this target is 00347 to 00325. That's correct. And then now the vortex down here. How lucrative is the trade below here? It's probably not as lucrative as maybe this vortex right here. So current price down to there, we could bounce, and then if we get a weakness, I don't know if I'm going to trade it, trade that final stretch. I'll be probably looking for something that's a little more fresh, has more room to grow. So this is going to be part of our larger things that we're looking at. Let's draw something like this so you guys can see. So for GALA, these might be very viable targets. Let's just update these numbers for the bottom one, and then what we'll do is we'll try to find an entry. So 0.02996 to 0.00278. So if you're taking notes in your trade journal, that might be something you're going to be looking at. Okay, 00347 and 00325. And then again, this may be a support here that might be hit. We gotta find a proper entry if we're going to be taking this, and I'll show you some thoughts. So for this, we're going to look very closely. We're going to go all the way down to a probably a 1 hour chart. So I'll start with the 12 by cutting the day in half, and just going to be looking for any shapes. I can see that I got some kind of parabolic that's going to be somewhere up here. We can draw that already. On Wednesdays, I slow things down. We get a little bit less crypto, but more content, okay? So I'm going to be looking like this. Let's just give this a little different color, that light sky blue. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for the screen so you guys can see it. Okay, so I'm looking something like that. Okay, you see it? Maybe it needs to be raised just a hair, but for the most part, these wicks are lining up here, 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 and here. And then that's going to level off somewhere about here. So we're going to level that off, lowering the border and just putting that. So you can see if we were to continue the line, it's going to be about there. And then we can just give it a flat price and we don't have to worry about it anymore. 0.005 4, we're just going to put 5.8 from the average of 5.5, no, 5.0, yeah, 0.050. So that'd be nice. Okay. Now we're trying to, if you're trying to catch it at a low, generally we like to hunt the up move within the down move. But we can also look for further breakdowns. So if we're rejecting it strongly, I may want to have my eye on rejections up here. That might be something I'm going to be looking at, and then I'm going to be looking at a flat in just a moment. So this is how this is probably some of the lines I might be putting on. So the next one is 486 and 491. So we're going to put 487, and this is just going to be an average. Okay. Now, finally, let's go down to those smaller time frames. Now that we got the bulk of what we're looking for. All right, I'm going to go down to a 3, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be, we're here now on this 3-hour chart. The first thing we're going to be looking for is the local health and to see what price is actually doing in that local health. So by local health, this is where I'm going to stop drawing on this chart. Because I'm probably not going to come down to a 3 unless I'm having a blank chart. But if I was to draw this, I'll hide my lines. And we're left with something like this. Okay, so all of the big stuff is all out of the way. For the most part, I'm left with something like this. I want to draw my local healths. And for me, that's going to be here, connecting these two lines. And then we're going to pull up volume. And I'm going to show you what I'm looking for in the volume. So, are we in health at the moment? Yes or no? Yes, there is a health. Has price done really anything except for consolidate and go sideways? No. Okay, that's a first clue that something might be wrong. We're going to want to look at the volume here on the down bar that has a close all the way near the middle or the high. We're also going to look at the grouping since we have this. The move is into health, so we want strong volume at that area. If we want, generally we want some strong volume or a strong aggregately high volume on this bar as we get into health. If we go and there's very weak volume, that's not going to be good. Okay, for a good bounce. That's something. The other thing that we might want to be concerned about is absorption by the buyers. So if we really are going to go up, we want the buyers to be winning. So we would want to see our buyers winning. Now, are they winning? One of the ways we're going to see it, if we have strong volume the first time, then we challenge again, which they did right here. We're going to look for the volume and see if the volume is low. We want low volume at that time. Aggregately low is the symbol we give you. Okay, so if I have a low volume or even no volume, almost like a no volume, which will be a no demand situation, that's going to be indicating that the buyers are winning. That's going to make for a more viable case that GALA will go up in these times. If so, we're going to have a stronger case for a pullback. In a down market overall, I don't want to be taking that trade, but I do want to use that moment to take my profit. Okay, I do want to use that moment to take my profit. So if I see this, it's not a clue to buy. It's a clue to, yeah, you can get out and take profit. We're probably going to come back up. What the next thing we're going to do is we're going to examine the area for its target system. So we're going to be, we got a high here, we're going to take that area from this moment, exactly that moment, and we're going to measure the target system to see where the viable targets might be. That might be something. We can look at the delta and we can look at the dips. Okay, so when I say by dip, it's different context than what people say dip. So we can be looking for a possible pullbacks to there, and then those are the moves we'll be looking to hunt. Otherwise, I'll be looking for price and just kind of waiting for those opportunities, if that's the case. Now, the warning that I have based on this data, even though it's only a 3-day chart, is we came into health and we're not going up. So either something else is in play, knocking this down, or we're going to need to find out what is going on. The safest bet, even if you don't know what's going on, and we're probably going to look at this a little bit more because I'll use this as just a little case study, is we can simply draw flat and wait for the next trade down to short it. So here's where I would take action for my flat. Because if we're not going anywhere here, there might be some health, but the clues are, hey, we're probably still weak. So draw your flat, take your trade once you close below there or get some good closes or rejection off of there, and then look to do it. And usually I give myself a few candles of rejection. And what I like to do many times on a small, very small time frame, maybe a 15-minute chart, I'll hunt that, I'll cut that. Okay, so that might be something we're going to be looking at. So this is a very viable option. Now to determine what's going on, I'm going to be looking at the volume. I'm going to be looking at the volume to see who's winning locally. Okay, let me check your questions. Hey Jason, can we swap Tesla for, yeah, no problem, my friend. Okay. So one of the things we're going to be looking for is the volume. Now, if I have high volume on this bar and it's higher than this bar, I know that there's still a lot of supply at the top. We're probably indicating that any sellers are not really winning. We're going to be probably going up. So we're looking for that harmony by seeing who's winning the challenges. So we have a challenge to the top side. If I'm seeing the volume is increasing at those areas, there's a reason why I'm looking at this before I show you, so you guys can kind of learn what I'm doing here. If I see the volume keep increasing, I'm going to be very optimistic for a breakout to the high side or another challenge. Okay, but if I'm seeing this the high volume on the up bar, the up move, which is these bars right here, and I'm seeing strong volume here and then no strong volume, and I move into weakness down here, I'm going to be very, very bearish this crypto, because that means that sellers are winning. If I combine that with this background and the background's weak, that means again sellers are going to be more likely to win. So let's take a look at all those scenarios. And I'm just going to quickly, I know that's a lot to throw at you guys for just a moment, but this is how I would break it down if I was going to break it down. So we're going to recreate all of this, but this time with volume. All right. And now let's make a case for where we're going. Okay, so now we got some volume. I give myself a few more candles. All right, so let's again draw our local health, and we'll take it step by step in its stride. It's Wednesday, so we can do it. All right, so this is our smaller energy center. Round structure, I like it. Round structure, I like it. Here's the health. There's about where the sword cut. We're going on both sides, so I'm not going to pay too much mind for the sword cut. Okay, so the health. Did we have high volume in the background before we moved into the health? Yes or no? High volume on the down bar. The buying. Yeah, it's pretty high. Look at the volume. It's very high on the down bar with closes near there. So that fulfills that part of the scenario. So we know some money's coming in. At the very least, when buying comes in, it doesn't necessarily mean we go up, because the buyers don't always win, right? But what happens is they do form a base. A lot of the words that Tom Williams used was stopping volume. Okay, the move's coming and money comes in and props it up. Sometimes it's a more nefarious, like a money-making maneuver, but a lot of times it's just people thinking that's the bottom. They buy the dip, and they're the cannon fodder. If there's still selling that goes on at these areas, how does it appear on the chart? It appears on the up bar, the up move, and the uptrend, with price still going into weaknesses. Okay, so here we have buying coming in, and it's enough to stop price in its tracks. We come into a local health, but look at the up bar. Look at the up bar. Is it really buying here when they had all this chance to buy? Professional selling happens on the up bar, up move, and uptrends. It's counterintuitive, I know, but it's exactly the truth. If you study Tom Williams, Gavin Holmes, their work, I teach a lot of their basics of what they teach in advanced form, but it's the most of the meat you need to know. Wyckoff does a similar thing. If the close is into weakness, in this case, we're going to draw the weakness as that flat. So if I get below here and I have high volume like this in the background, it's going to verify what was happening here. Right now, it's unconfirmed, but it's looking more and more like they're still dumping. They'll create a rally down here. Yeah, it's the time. It's the bottom. You guys got to buy the dip. You need to buy it. And while they're doing that, they're actually selling it against you, because they need some higher prices. Okay, they need to, yeah, the retail. They can. And all they have to do is place a single buy order that's equivalent to a large portfolio. So for example, if they're trading at the $1 million level, they'll put one buy order for 15,000 and it'll drive price up. That's what's his name this is really how the game works, because anytime you do any just bulk move, you will drive the market yourself. So you can actually stop it in its place too to create a false rally. Okay, price is going to need to fulfill and finish fulfilling and a lot of things. This is people who's buying here. This is the people saying, yeah, it's time. See, this is a great price for GALA. And they're not looking what's really happening in the larger story, or they may not know, or we may not even know. But they believe that price is going to go lower. Now, ultimately, it's all fair as if it's in the data, and they don't know if price is going to go down or higher. But one of the things that you can easily see is if they're jumping ship, it's going to look like that on an up bar. So let's conclude. Let's finish up this, and then we'll make some final conclusions. Okay. So of the buying, we did have a move into health and on lower volume, but we're still aggregately high. So this is the symbol we always give you guys. So it's still aggregately high at this moment. So there is buying coming in. Did the buyers fully lose? Did we get down to this area on very, very low volume? No, we did not. Okay. We didn't get down on low volume. That did not happen. Okay, we got down on aggregately high, which means the buyers are not done with this area. If the buyers are going to buy, they're going to buy at those challenge areas, and the next one could be just the bar right before it. So that bar on higher volume is high, and that means there's still money coming into this thing. There's still a lot of money to be had for buyers. So there is some hope. Now, since this is a 3-hour chart, at the rate I'm looking, I'm probably going to play in here at least maybe another session, you know, on average. If I'm chunking this out, that's kind of how I'm looking. So maybe 6th, 7th, maybe the 7th. You know, here's 4, 5, maybe 6th to 7th. Is somewhere, just a rough estimate of what I'd be looking at. Okay, just throwing that part out there. Now, finishing up with this. Professional selling has to happen on the up bar, up move, uptrend. Let's bring in back some of our earlier conclusions. The earlier conclusion is, why hasn't price gone up yet? Okay. One of the things I get scared of, or not scared of, I'm always kind of leery of, is when we're at a top, prices go into a top, and we just fail to go. Go up. We just kind of just hover right there. Now, sometimes when I look at that, I'll say to myself, yeah, we're supposed to come down. But if we just stay there a little bit, I usually look for a break like that. I'm like, why haven't we gone down yet? That was a trade I was in earlier in the year, and it looked just like that. It was like, okay, we're supposed to go down, a lot of weakness, but we just hovered right there. I said, oop, get out, get out, get out. When that happens, the market is too strong. It doesn't want to fall. The market failing to fall when it's supposed to is a very clear warning. Now let's flip that around. We have a down market. Price comes into a health and fails to go up. What am I thinking? I'm thinking we're probably going to continue down. Now, in either case, we still need the confirmation. It's going to be here, right there. Either way, we got to have the confirmation. But it's looking more and more, especially if you see those up moves on very high volume, just like this. So even though there's some buying, the buyers are not winning. We got that part from the first half. When we went to half, we didn't have any full health. We got enough to stabilize this for a few hours, but not enough to get me higher or to make it lucrative. We're getting challenged right back down to the same challenge area, and there's still a lot of volume on the bottoms. So that means the appropriate trading range is at the bottom. Now, one of the big giveaways, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is something you guys can look for if you're trading notes, If we start trading back here and you see the volume even stronger with an increase, if you see that, you know almost assuredly you're coming down. Okay, because there's too much supply, the buyers have not won. So already they didn't really win, even though they got their small victory. They're not really winning. They haven't really absorbed or controlled. And that's something you gotta look for in a strong base. So we hunt up moves in down trends. This is going to be the up move. It's going to be a flat. So if I'm chomping at the bit to trade GALA, I'm probably going to be looking maybe on this 3-hour chart for closes below 460. 460. 0.00460. At the moment, I think you're going to survive here for a little bit longer. Definitely not my cup of tea to buy. If I wanted to take profit, I could, and then I can just wait for a few hours and do that. Okay, but that's going to be my conclusion, and I'll leave you guys with that. Okay. So I will give a little text box. GALA, February 4th, 2026. This crypto was examined today as part of a tutorial on the 3-hour chart. Based on this data, we saw small buying enter GALA. This was a lot like stopping volume, if not already stopping volume. Price also failed to absorb / control before moving into that health, that local health. In addition, something very concerning, we see the up move on high volume, the up bar on very high volume for this chart, for this 3-hour chart. Now it's not super high in the long story, so remember it's just local stuff. For this 3-hour chart, this indicates this is actively this indicates this is fighting a strong bear, still being sold or shorted. I would only be looking at this area as an up move. Though technically the move is flat. And if you guys, by the way, if you guys are new to our community, the move for the up moves are like this. Okay, they're as follows. So watch me real quick. It looks like this, up, 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 like that. And they become move. So when I talk about the up move, we first start talking about price like this, with the different sets of weaknesses appearing below those areas, like that. So it looks a lot like that. Price moves in and out of these in slow motion and at other opposing oscillations. Each one of those also has its own oscillation that's related to it, like that, and so forth and so on. Okay, so this is how we can read price in a more accurate way. The up move sometimes is actually just flat, and sometimes the up move is actually down. So even though technically we talk about these, you'll actually see up moves with those in the background being read as at a certain angle. So we'd actually be looking for prices to even be there, and that would be considered our up move for the purposes of our ARN. Okay, so this is what I call the clocks for many years. And there's many a session where I've taken you guys in the corner and I've drawn this little diagram, so this is very familiar to many of you guys. But if you don't have it, just draw yourself a little one, so you train your eyes what you're looking for, like as if it's a flashcard. Okay, so that's what I mean by the clocks. This can be the up move, but also so up move, but also an up move technically because of its classification in sequence. Okay. So for GALA, we start seeing the up moves can be like flats, and you can use those to your advantage. All right. This might be another example for that volume scenario. See the high volume, stopping volume only. When we challenge again, we still have high volume. We go up, the up bars on high volume again. This is actually a perfect scenario. Let me just look perfect. So I can use this one in the past just as a baseline for you guys to understand how this works. Okay, watch me just a little bit. Okay, so here's our local health. Okay, our local health. So this right here would be a health. We have strong volume as we come off the top. Very strong volume. Okay. When we challenge again, did we absorb the volume in this area? No, we did not. We still have very strong volume on the down move. So aggregately high, there's still a lot of winners here, a lot of supply in this area. Okay, but we move into health regardless. When we did come into health, we still have very high volume on the up bar itself. This could be pushing into the health, but we also have to read it's not a really strong breakout. Therefore, we didn't have an absorption scenario. So we did not have absorption. We're still aggregately high, just like we just drew for you guys a little while ago. So we're very aggregately high, no absorption. Okay, no absorption. And then we get into that breakout, but you can see the up bar is on strong volume, but we never get past into the next health. In fact, we actually break down below the flat. Where? Right here. That told us most of what we need to know. We failed to launch, and we broke down into weakness. So that was most of what we needed to know here. In addition to that, the up bars are the ones that still have the strong volume. So this is how we would do this in real life. Here's the up bar. It still has the strong volume. Are you guys seeing this? Look at the volume. It's still very, very high on the up bar, right? So the up bar is where the professional's selling, and we get slammed right back down and into weakness. So almost everything we need to know can be solved with this simple flat at this moment in context with the volume picture. Okay, here's another. It's not that worst. This one is. Okay, for its context. In the overall grand scheme of things, it's really hard to see that. But if you're just, that's a good example of what we're looking at. So this scenario repeating itself into the health, but now the up bar is on strong volume getting slammed down. Guess what I'm looking to GALA? I'm looking for GALA to come back down. A simple way to fix this or solve this for another entry for GALA, therefore, would be a simple flat. So we can draw that flat in conclusion. Let's draw it together. It's going to be here. I'll draw it, mine's about right about there, and then I'll give it this color. And I'll give it a little border because it's we need the rectangle. Okay, I'm gonna give it the rectangle. We'll bring up the border, and then I'm gonna give myself this blue, and then I'm gonna say text 3-hour flat. Look for weakness to trigger flat. Now, if too much time has elapsed and I'm getting a whole nother chart session, I want to re-examine that. Okay, but for the most part, that's how I would trade that. If I'm trading in the next 2 days GALA short, I will put a circle underneath here and look for the breakdown. So that's how I would be looking. I'd be looking to take a short underneath that price, and I'll give you the price. So with a higher degree of confidence, maybe not 100%, but maybe somewhere around here, I'm looking for that because it's not triggered just yet. But I'm going to be looking for that one, and it's within the larger story. Okay, so I don't have to take this chop, too risky. But if price breaks there, I'm trading it. Do I have any questions about this? 0.00461 to 0.0056, so we're going to say 0.0058 average. And I'll make that big so you guys can see it easier. Easier is the word of the day. Easier. Okay. Make sure you tell your boss at work. Why did you show up late to work? Well, I was trying to take an easier road, and I got lost along the way. So let's see. This is up move with shorts. On strategy, I will be using the flat average of 0.00458 to look for a short entry in the next sessions by February. Let's give ourselves an extra name, by February 8th. Otherwise, re-examine. Chart. I am not, you gotta control yourself. I am not entering this short at this time, as this is dangerous. Okay, larger target was hit. So we're looking to look to exit already. Some of that profit, especially as we're deep into that, you should have been fulfilled. This is Binance. They're a pretty larger exchange, so you're going to be okay. On most exchanges, that should have been the price. Otherwise, we can probably end up seeing some more stuff, volatility. Okay, larger target was hit. So, and this is a strategy short term. Okay, any other questions going once? I think that was all I wanted to say as part of a tutorial for this GALA. Okay, on Wednesday we do some of these. Questions going once? Questions going twice? Question. Who's got a question? Okay. All right, so that's some short-term stuff. All right, no questions, then let's move on. What's the next one? We got Tesla. Okay, so Tesla wanted to be changed. Okay, TKC was changed. Melody, can you edit this out? John said, can you change it to SCRT? Okay. So we're not going to look at Tesla. SCRT, it's a crypto. Okay. Okay, so I changed it right now. Let's pull up on the board whatever stock that is, or crypto. SCRT. And I'm going to, since it's a new one, let's type in USD. We're going to, oh, I have it done. Secret network. So let's see what we got. Let's go to a weekly chart and see where we're at. Ooh, a short may be triggered on this one. All right, so January 24th, we wrote some things. This coin has strong professional selling in the background, confirmed by ultra high volume up bars in the larger down move. So in the larger down move, we got this strong volume into those local weaknesses, such as here. You can see the very strong volume in this grouping of candles right here at the top. Now the increase from this area to this area is still high, so challenging to the upside one more time is very, very likely. We challenged very high, but it was very, very ultra high. So a lot of dumping was going on in this. So buying needs to be the last thing on our mind with this crypto. With many cryptos where the professionals are strongly playing against you, it's like there's a lion there. Get out of, like, why are we playing with the, oh, would you send your children out there to play with the lion? No. You don't want to be the bag holder. You don't want to be their lion's fodder, their cannon fodder. You know, be strong. Okay, you guys are smarter than that. You guys you can predict bottoms. We can actually predict, when money's coming back into it using our art. We don't need to be jumping the gun. We don't need to catch falling knives just to buy any low just because it's a low. No, you're smarter than that. You guys are brilliant. You guys can catch these bottoms. I believe in you. I've been with you guys a long time. At the very least, you have me for these times and seasons. So as I said, use me up, okay? You can see easily when money's coming back into crypto. And right now, the only thing it's been doing is leaving. So you don't need to be caught with your pants down, holding all of everyone else's, junk. Let's take a look. The larger, this coin is strong professional selling in the background, confirmed by ultra high up bars on the in the down move, followed by local weaknesses and major weaknesses in March, November, and January. This larger structures suggest a wide spread, and this is easily seen as the flat on the monthly chart. So if you pull up the monthly chart, you can actually see the actual move. It looks really like this. It's a very wide spread here. Look how much candles are dipping into here, but it's not breaking the rules of what it's forming. It's saying, hey, that was a flat, and hey, this is a resistance, and you need to listen up. I got a friend, she calls me up and she goes, hey, like that. Every time she does it. She's from New Jersey. She says, I'm from Jersey. I was like, hey, Sella, how you doing, Sella? She was like, hey, how's the baby? How's Melody? I like to make fun of her. All right, but it's okay. You guys can make fun of me. All right, this type of flat is the general area. Many times it is not a flat per se, but rather a block, like a range, especially if there's a disconnect. Strategy. Use these to identify flats when not seemingly apparent. I should say seemingly, not seem. When not seem apparent. I learned English last week. Please be patient with me. Seemingly? That doesn't sound like right. Seemingly. When not easily. How about easily, apparently? Okay. I had a nurse once, and she was very patient with me as I was her patient. Okay. Thank you for laughing. Okay, now use the higher time frames to confirm. In conclusion, I would be looking to short this down to 1127 dynamic positive. If the weakness builds under there, I would be looking to try to short towards 0.032 DP yellow parabolic oscillation. What I mean by this is shorting it down to here. I would try to be cutting this up move. Now this is probably going to be a very, very lucrative short. Okay? Very, very lucrative. So professionals are exiting this crypto. It's probably going to fall to oblivion, at least for the time being. If it does well in the future based on any other prophetic reasons, I don't got it. Okay. If whether I had a dream or anything like that. If I see the money leaving, like I see a lot of crypto, I got to wait till I see the money coming back in to know the dangers away, or that it's safe to cross, or the Lord show me that it's safe to cross. In either scenario, that's what I need to trade. Because we have timing in our community. So let's look at this. Last month, we closed in the weakness territories, which is below this flat. We had very high volume as we crossed up. Then we crossed up again. Professional selling happens on the up bar, the up move, uptrend confirmed by moves into weakness. So last month we got this large up move, but look where we closed, all the way down near the bottom. I'm going to do it again. We went really high, all the way up to 25 cents and came all the way back down to 10 cents, 11 cents close on very high volume. Do you see how that's concerning? Okay. Professional selling identified in January 2026. Let's go to a 2-week chart. Do we still got it? Yeah, we do. Okay, let's go to a weekly chart. Still got it? Yes, we do. Let's go, let's now draw all the way down to a 3-day chart and then a daily chart. Okay, so here's where we start seeing our up move and we can really start confirming this stuff. Here's our daily chart. All right, now, do we have a short available on this trade? Well, we got very strong high volume, as we said, on the up move. What we need to fully confirm our weaknesses is the next up move into weakness. So right now, if I was drawing this, I'd probably draw my first angle like that. Okay. And then I draw another one, maybe as a wick match, somewhere here. And then I draw and make sure we're below there. And we're below in both counts today. And then I draw probably one more. What would I draw to confirm another weakness? Does anybody know what I would draw to confirm another weakness? What should we draw to confirm another weakness? It's quite easy. We talked about it earlier in this session. What do we draw to trade further to the downside? If I'm trading, do I got a straight shot down? What can I take this in one single trade, or do I have to break this in smaller trades? Okay, I gave you the answers earlier when I did the clocks. I'll pull up the image. You hunt the up move with larger weakness in the background. That's what's happening. How do I take this next trade? Can somebody help me out? If I want to make money to the downside with this crypto that's most likely going to fall very far, how do I take and navigate that? Is it just going straight there to the target? How do I have to navigate this? Somebody know the answer? I know it's early, but you traders, if you guys are doing trading, especially traders, and even long-term holders, you need to know this stuff. So you know, you can see the weaknesses and health's coming back in. All right, nobody's got the answer. So watch this image. I'm going to show you the image. We did it earlier. Here it is. I showed you this diagram. It's called the clocks. Okay, remember this? The up move starts, and then they start becoming more muted until they become a flat. Also, the down moves continue like this. So those would be technically an up move for the purpose of our art. Okay, I showed you this in GALA on 2 separate occasions. The up move is actually flat. So this is our short entry down here. Okay, this is why we look to short as a flat. See? So again, on this image, where is the entry? If I can take a short here today, where's the next place I can take a short? Somebody tell me. This is Wednesday. I can teach on Wednesdays. Nobody? Are you guys all at work? Are you all driving? I don't see any answers. Did you all fall asleep on me? Lesson planning, okay. Planning the lessons for your school, okay. Not everybody, but at least somebody. The answer is the flat. The flat. The flat. This means there's 2 separate trades. There's a trade here, and money to be made only to there, and then more money to be made underneath this. So we have to actually take 2 separate trades. We can take a trade to here and get out, or take some profit, or you can hold it and then you can add to your position here. So you take a small position here, very little money to be made, and then a larger position here when things are safe again. We can even reject back up and then come back down, and you can escape that volatility by just immediately taking some profit. But there's another trade to be had under here. When that happens, then we can look for other things that are going to be along the way. So what's along the way? I'm just going to quickly give you guys some answers. One of the things that's along the way may be the smaller oscillation. So we'll be actually looking for prices to do something. Let's stretch this out and try to keep that same curvature. Based on this curvature at the bottom, I'd probably be looking something like these lower prices. So if we can get below 11 cents, which is today, or yeah, probably I would already see the closes today on the solid line. I might be looking to trade it down to the flat at 10 cents, 0.10005, 0.000991. Okay. 0991. And then I might want to take the trade if it's somewhere next week or around February 11th. I might want to take the trade to 8 cents. Okay, so that's how I'd probably want to trade that on average. Dynamic negative. Okay. And then from there, if I get another weakness, which may ensue, but we don't know, but if we do, we start building below this area, that might be there. I could be also jumping down the mountain. I'll have to cut more moves as we eventually get our way, possibly to this DP at the yellow line, which is 32. A lot of money to be made along the way if we can get all the way there. So conservatively, from right now, that's around 183%. That might be on the board for us. Okay, 187% still along the way in various trades. 187%. That's a lot. There's candy and a lot of trades for some of these stuff that's easy. I mean, this stuff is easy. It's easy to see the high volume up bars into weakness, high volume up bars into weakness. That weakness is now, or rejecting on the underside of that with large round structure. Down we go. Okay, how fast are we going to go? Are we probably going to get it all? I would be interested in taking it short on this trade. That's how I would navigate it. Okay. Any other questions? This crypto. Okay. No reason to buy this yet. It's at the very least, it's dangerous. Going once. Going twice. Okay. I'm going to do an update here. And copy that. Update February 4th, 2025. Daily chart. This crypto has another weakness being revealed today. However, the flat is not far away at 0.10005 to 0.0991 area. Their current price is 11.27. I would be looking for this crypto to fall to the flat. If the next weakness triggers, I should say would be, I am looking for this crypto to fall to the flat. If the next weakness triggers, I want to short this towards the orange parabolic. It's under parabolic. Around 0.08, what was the number? 0.834 dynamic negative. The larger DP at 0.0362 may be in the future as a larger target, but more navigation is needed to safely arrive there. Okay, so what I would say is I don't just have a target there. I want to have reasons to get there. I can see from here to here, and then I'll probably want to wait until the future forms, and then I will see, maybe some more structures, and then we can try to navigate all the way down to here. But at the moment, I don't see the direct connection between here and there in this moment. Okay, so that's how I would trade that. Just only possibly to the A4 for right now. Okay. Not saying we're not going all the way there, but that's how I would do it. Questions going once, going twice. And then I move on. Okay, I like Wednesdays because I'll slow down and teach you individual, like what's going on, what my thoughts are, deeper into many of these matters. Find you guys some active trades for you guys who are looking to trade. The next one I'm going to look at is TKC. TKC. Why does that sound familiar? Superfood, is this a stock superfood? Do you know? Turkel Cell. I got stocks. So it's TKC, right? Yeah. Kingdom Coin. Okay. It might be Dex Tools. We got wrapped BNB, Kingdom Coin, Binance, USD. Here we go. USD. Okay, I got this one. The Kingdom Coin crypto. So this one's a Kingdom Coin. Oh, wow. A lot of data for the Kingdom Coin. Let's take a look if there was large accumulation. We have done a map on it. Okay. I didn't see one right now. Maybe it was on Dex Tools. Was it on Dex Tools? Either way, I need an update on this. Okay, so we see that initial ultra high volume bar. This is where they dumped it right here. You can see the high volume on the up bar into a local weakness, at the very least below the flat, right sometime in June of 2023, and down we went. Did the big money come back into this crypto? We had some bars here that were shakeout type on very high volume. Shakeout coins are going to be definitely often indicated by wicks on both sides. So we see a lot of those wicks on both sides, and then the volume only kept increasing on the down move at the challenge. This could have been a down thrust challenge within a larger down move, and that's going to be in the realm of harmony, as I stated earlier in the day when I was looking at USDT.D and Bitcoin. It looks like this is at the very least shakeout and on very strong volume. So down we should continue. Shakeouts are indicators that indicate prices are going to continue. So that's on a weekly chart. So down we went further. Did the professional money ever enter this crypto? I don't see it. We even still see these high volume bars closing near the lows. We did go up on lack of interest. Okay, we did go up on lack of interest. If no one's willing to trade, price will gravitate to where the local trading is at. So we moved into health on lack of interest. If you ever have moves that are on into local into health on lack of interest, it often indicates that there is the moves are going to be harder to sustain. There may be more buying on another chart somewhere on a different exchange. The thing about cryptocurrency is some of these buying is spread out. But for the most part, what you observe in the data and the volume is an average for most exchanges. I'm going to conclude that this moved up and lack of interest. So this move up should be unsustainable in the longer term. So I got to be careful with that. That's the first thing. I'm going to put this in the notes first for my findings, so I don't forget. TKC, February 4th, 2026. This coin on the weekly chart moved into health on lack of interest that I can see. There may be large, I'll just say accumulation on other exchanges. This is PancakeSwap. On BNB chain. Okay. Next. And I needed to put, usually if price moves into an area in lack of interest, it is unsustainable until unsustainable. So look, and I'm going to say look for other identifiable actions by large players. Okay, and lack of interest is a very unique topic. It's like where the market has to go based on its own rules. If there's no one willing to play here, the market makers actually move them, allow the market to move to where the natural harmony will be. Okay, where people are willing to trade. They're not willing to pay that low. Okay, are they going to pay higher? Okay, they're going to pay higher. Now, it doesn't mean the large players are coming in. It just means that that's where the market is gravitating towards. Okay, so let's look at what happens next. So we had very strong volume on the up bar. We only come into health, and that's going to be what we're going to identify as pushing. So this is where bullish pushing is going to come into play. So move into health on lack of interest. And the next one is on bullish pushing. Okay. We know it's bullish pushing because we got the parabolic here showing us the health is supposed to be there. So this is going to be important. We almost never came back down to that health. So I'm going to draw a shortcut at that area just in case. Next thing I want to do is I want to draw the parabolic flat, which is going to be a little bit lower. It's going to be about where this levels out, and I'm just going to give myself a ballpark somewhere about here. So 0.0012 average. And then this is going to be SC. And this should be this, the top one. This should be yellow. That should be yellow. This should be orange. All right, so let's bring this over now. .0017, 0.00155. So we went up on lack of interest, went up on bullish pushing. Then we, that's a bullish sign for the market. We come back up. Did we have, I don't need to do this, but I'm just quickly doing target system. Okay. We got a target near here and the delta just above it. So price is rejecting off of the target in the delta. It's going to be there. That's about right where it should be rejecting. Okay. Since it's a big rejection, we're going to do the next target system from the bottom to the top. And price is currently at the next target right now. Here. That's a good sign. Okay. That's not bad. Okay. So the foundational line may have a health soon. So we're going to draw that foundational line. It's going to be here. Okay. So we're bouncing on a support, possibly into a health. We gotta wait for the health to come in before taking action. And finally, let's examine the, make sure that we're still in health. This is easy to see. We're still in health. Okay, so we still got health in play. We also want to make sure that we have strong volume on the bottom, and if possible, some absorption as we get into that health. So I got strong, let's examine some of these stuff. First, I got really strong volume at the up bar up move, and then I got another strong volume, but the candle's wonky. The candle's identical to a shakeout. We got wicks on top and wicks on the bottom, very long wicks on very high volume. So Is this selling? Well, if it's selling, we generally need to confirm the move into weakness. I got only a straight up move into weakness. So for the purpose of a local, that's going to be some selling. And we come to the support. Is that enough to take the trade all the way down past the foundational area? I don't think so at the moment. I gotta wait. Okay, it's enough to take this short down to maybe the target. And when we did the target system just a little while ago, we only measured to the top. So this is about where price should find support. It's finding support here. So all of that is paying off for the short that may have been on very strong volume. It's very possible there's professional selling that's happening, but we won't fully know it until we get to the foundational weakness, which means this whole up move is about to be over. If it does, we're going to view this in very different light. This is going to be strong selling. As it is right now, it's probably selling and shakeout and enough to bring us down. So we're going to have to watch what's happening here. Now, locally, we also need to consider what's happening right now. So right now I don't have the strong volume on the down bar. I still have strong, we have an up bar that closed near the low on high volume. And then right now, as I'm getting to the top, I'm getting strong volume again, but it's on the up bar and the spreads are getting much smaller. What I would be looking to do is hunting this. So I've got to be really careful taking a bullish position right now. The reasons are as follows. Number one, we're not in health. Number two, we may have strong selling in the background. We're going to confirm it under here. And we'll write that down. Even though I have the local selling, I'm going to write this down. Local professional selling identified. Strong professional large selling unconfirmed. Okay, this will be confirmed underneath here. So we can set an alert, set an alert for yourself. We're gonna put this here, and I'm gonna put message to myself, look for weakness below this line. If so, it confirms this. It confirms the selling in whatever date this was, August 2025. In August 2025. Okay, and then we can take this trade from here to here. Okay, and then we're probably going to be looking at a flat since the bottom is a multi-touch flat. It's a big sign that we're going to be looking for flats. I like multi-touch flats. Okay. Since there's not much money here, this is where things can get choppy. We're probably going to look to probably even bounce out. But if the markets are still bearish or this crypto is still bearish, doesn't exert signs that strong money is coming back in, if they don't say, hey, that's a good deal, then we're going to look for another weakness below these areas, below the 12 cents. I don't want to take any shorts from here to here as I'm coming up to the parabolic. There's too much support right now. For me, probably too rich for my blood. I'd probably like to take the large short from here to here. Let's take a look at what money might be on the table from about those averages. We're looking around 300%. So there's still around 300% to be gained. If we're getting deep all the way to the flat, there might be a lot more. But right now, it's somewhere around 350. Here's 370. Okay, percent. From here to here. Okay. Now again, let's put in some final thoughts. This up move is exerting no signs that large buying is coming in. So I'm going to put this here in the notes so you can see what I'm finding. If we don't see it here, we got to be careful thinking that this is going to be the thing that's going to break us out. Okay, foundational move is still in play. So let's go back down to the weekly chart, and this is a weekly chart, so strong. We want strong volume here. We don't really got it on the down bar. Okay, or control. We got very low volume. I'm going to show you. If you don't believe me, look. Okay, this is how we're going to be safe out there. Okay, here. There it is. You see these volume match? See why is this up closing near here on low volume, and then the up bar closes near the low with a move further down with a new low on the high volume. Do you see how that makes sense? That means that this is still selling. So they're still actively selling it, which is more signs that this is being sold. Okay. Then we have the high volume on this bar, but the spread is very small. The spread is shrinking, too much activity. If we have that kind of stuff into the weakness, the local weakness, it's on. I would like to take this short, if possible. That's how I would do it. I would like to take that short down to there. There's some money to be made. If I was just trading it down to the short, there's 37%, 20, 35%. So just from here to here, you can make yourself 35%, 36%. It's possibly very strong. Okay, from that, if we get it, it needs to trigger. Remember, untriggered, and it's nice and juicy. And by that I mean it's like, look at the round structure on that daily chart, very juicy. I mean, look at the foundational area. It's matching. It's nice and curved. Got this nice, beautiful shapes that are, you know, very, very easy, and it's very lined up. So you can see that. So all of you guys will do. The other one that's similar to that one was ACH. It looks almost similar. It's very, you got this nice, beautiful curved shape with strong volume in the background. No signs of really strong, large buying. So when we go up on this lack of interest, the professionals are dumping. The spreads are getting smaller. You can see on a weekly chart, spreads are getting smaller. It's a similar, maybe not the weekly chart. Let's go to 2-day chart. You can see the spreads getting very small on the volume, still very, very high into that weakness. It's easy. Okay. TKC. All right, we're almost done. Again, I'm slowing things down for us so you guys can have Kingdom. Where was that at? I'm gonna need to look at my images again. Okay, TKC, WBNB. We're trading here. TKC, WBNB. There it is. And I'll just show. Okay, so what just happened? Oh, TKC, WBNB. Okay, so this got my eye for a short, and then I'll give you the prices. So again, some of you guys are looking at this one. This is something I'd also look at. Text price note somewhere down there, 0075. The breakout happens above these numbers. I don't think you're gonna get it. From where I'm standing, I don't think it's gonna happen. Then we're gonna take the trade down to the weakness, and then the big trade starts here. That's the big one if we get it. So let's put these in the final notes. Okay. More recently, in August 2025, on the weekly chart, large local selling appeared. This may be further weakness or larger implications. The problem is it is unconfirmed until the foundational area is broken. This is the lower bottom line, and I'll label this foundational area dot A. Okay, so there it is, foundational area A. Okay. When that is broken, it will confirm larger selling. Triggering a short trade back towards sword cut at 0.0017 and the parabolic flat at 0.0012. Okay. Parabolic flat at 0.0012 and the larger flat MTF flat at 0.00097, 0.00088. So you got some larger stuff going for you. Probably more importantly, locally, another short may trigger very soon. A local up move, a local parabolic up move. On the daily chart, shown in yellow. It lines very nicely, lines up very nicely with stronger volume near the highs and lack of buyer control before the move started. Into that local health. This is what we want to see to hunt up moves within the larger down move. I would be looking to short strategy. I am looking to short this below that yellow parabolic down towards the foundational area. Area 0.00735 dynamic positive. Okay, there is around 34% available, right? It was around 34% available. So don't say I'd never found you guys some good shorts. I've been finding you a bunch of shorts today. Yeah. I hope you guys are able to look and try to take advantage of some of these easy ones as they come up. And quite easy. Most of these are going to be very, very easy. I don't know if you guys will be able to take advantage of this one, but if you can, you know, at the very least, you guys, I hope to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years by helping you create maps that are going to save you and show you a lot of the biggest stuff that's happening in these cryptos. Okay. Any other questions? Going once. Any other questions? Going once. It's on this bar. It's on this bar here. Okay. These are going to be a little bit concerning. We're probably going to be here for a few more days. This is a 2-day chart, so we're probably going to be here for about another week. Don't take the trade right now. Don't jump the gun. I don't like this increase, so we're probably supposed to be playing up here a little bit more. May even give us a false breakout, but don't take out false breakout to the top side. Don't take the short just yet. It is not triggered. I should put that in there. This short is not yet triggered. Wait for its own confirmation to the downside. Okay, let's move on. All right. Building up a lot of stuff for you guys here. Let's find you some more trades. Let's find you some things. At the very least, I'm teaching you what to look for. S&P 500. An idea. I can't short the S&P 500. In the market, it's called the SPX. Let's see how the SPX is holding up and doing. Okay, let's go to our weekly chart. All right, where are we at? Monthly, weekly foundational area still holding quite nicely. Nice bounce at these local weaknesses. The health came back into somewhere around April 2025. We're still going up along the curve. One thing that we kind of noticed, we're rejecting off of the phantom for the monthly foundational key angle. If we take the same angle as the phantom PA and I put it at the highest energy center, it's here. We can see that we're just kind of hitting here. One of the things I'm going to be concerned of, if we're not making any new higher highs, these are all going to come up the track. If we're not making any new higher highs to 7,000, to the top acceleration right up here, make sure it's lined up again. Okay. What I'm going to be looking for, therefore, if we're not hitting 7,600, 7,900 and breaking above these things, if we're not getting into that new high, we need to check, are we rounding over? Is there weakness appearing? Let's draw a parabolic because we can easily see one. One of the first things we'd want to do is not short this until we are in territories where we're able to short. I don't know if the stock market is about to fall. We don't have any signs of larger weakness that I've seen, not in a while. You know, and the weakness that we did see was local. I mean, very, very short-lived, and we came right back up into these areas. The structures are very, very still holding very, very well. But let's take a look at the volume, and then it might tell a different story. So, in advance, before I look at the volume, if I'm seeing a strong volume near the tops, the spreads are mushrooming over, especially if they come into weakness. We don't have any weakness to confirm this, but if we start seeing the volume higher near the top and we're not going anywhere, it's very possible some selling is taking on in the market. That's not really clear, is it? It's not really clear. I'm going to use the average. Okay. What I did is just left on the histogram. Yeah. The volume is only it's not very, very high near the highs just yet. Well, actually it is. Yeah, on average. Yeah, it is on average. Coming up here. That was about right here at the top. And we're starting to mushroom over. We still have high volume. It's not the worst thing in the world. And you got a lot of backups for the stock market now. Let's adjust this a little bit to the downside. And then let me readjust this angle for the phantom. Okay. Phantom. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, wait for your sign of weakness. If you got it, it's gonna be under here. Volume slowing down a little bit. That's about the most I would look for. The momentum, we're going higher. RSI is coming lower. It's possible we may slow down, and all of these are going to be raised up the track. Really, I'm just been updating the markets with without showing the circles for health. In an uptrend, we're only showing them above, and then the red one's showing only below. Okay, so I'm looking at something like this. The market can fall closer towards 5,712. You'll know the weakness is below 6,842. We are losing some momentum as a whole. Any other questions? This is the biggest stuff you need to know. We're not at the major tops and bottoms. Okay. And we'd want to be having another breakout above the 7,000. So, yeah. I will put this in a report really quick. SPX. February 4th, 2026. Signs of slowing down, but no large weakness. Volume is high as we are mushrooming over, but no confirmed selling without weakness, and volume is unclear. Histogram average was used only. Okay. So if there's a larger weakness, I don't see it. Okay. Questions going once? SPX. Questions going twice. Okay. Oh yeah. Bever wants to do SHIB for Saturday, so we're gonna send SHIB for Saturday. Let's go into fluid. I think we're almost out of our time, right? Yeah, we are at time. I am going to put for SHIB for Saturday. Saturday the 7th of February, 2026. Okay, let's do fluid. Whose fluids did we need to look at again? Superfood said, oh, had a question. Superfood, I'm sorry, I didn't see your question. I'll have to look at it. Can you go to the next level to all-time high to get a percentage, 300% all-time high? I don't know if I understand your question, but I'll try to get back to it in a bit, Superfood, okay? Let's finish fluid, and then after the session, I'll try to answer your question. Okay, let's look at fluid. All right, Fluid is currently at event line support. Large accumulation players are still in. Small profit taking in the context was done in September 2025, but this is not enough to offset incoming buyers. Look for future health to signal when the crypto may rise again. It should do well in the future. Okay, so at the moment, the profit taking was not enough to offset incoming buyers. So there was some money that's trying to come into this crypto locally. Okay, so this means we're going to focus on that flat, right? What do we got here in October? In today's important video, we can see large evidence of massive accumulation taking place at $3.66 to 22 cents. So closer to 362, 360. Some money coming in somewhere around here near October. In addition, I did a thorough examination of the volume game being played. What I can see is very aggressive behavior. I've not seen this much aggressive in recent days. I can see in the campaign not launching appropriately. This means large traders are wanting to squeeze every drop out drop at some lower price, and always they are buying in on the down move. I saw also the lack of profit taking at $10. This means the traders want much higher prices. Recently, this crypto is moving into a bearish area on purpose. I can see selling happening after the weakness. I expect this crypto to fall towards my lower numbers. My suspicion is a support at 284. Well, we fell to 284. There's our 280 number here. So we did fall there quite nicely. That's the price I want to pay. I expect a drop, then more buying to show up. In the future, based on the DP, I expect $438 to $378. This is massive indeed. So based on the larger oscillation, I'm looking for prices to come here to up there if we can get up there. The thing about this crypto is we saw very large accumulation coming in on the down move. So that means that if I pull up the volume, we want to see volume rising on the down bar down move. Okay, so look, if you're new to this, we're going to look for the volume. Let's put back on our actual volume. Okay, there it is. So we can see all the money coming in. Look at this massive volume. They're paying averages of around 60 cents, and they're buying 583,000 worth per week, especially near the lows. You know, here's an average around $350,000. Sorry, 350,000 at 50 cents. So large amount of money. So cut that amount in half. You got about 150 grand being spent every day. Large players trying to accumulate this. They're playing the big game. So this is a large accumulation list. This crypto is probably going to do well if it can. But we also saw them moving it into weakness on purpose, on strong volume. See, the professional selling we identified. And what happened? Price dropped. Where? Right to where we expected, the flat. So this is awesome. But now we need to see this last part from our report in October. What we were looking for them to do is, if they're not taking profits, but rather they're just driving it down. Either some of them are trying to short at the last moment. A lot of people saying, yeah, this is weakness, and it's okay to short that. I don't like to short stuff that has large accumulation on the background, because I don't want to get caught in the crossfire. I don't want to get caught with my hand in the cookie jar. There's a lot of ways you can say it, but we don't want to get caught on the wrong end of the rifle. I want to see buying show up. I said, my suspicion is the support at 812. That's what the price I want to pay. But we also wrote that we want to see, I expect the drop and then more buying to show up. If the buying doesn't show up, I'm out. I'm out. Because they're probably going to drop it more. So we need to see, now that we're here into this health, and we got a local health right here. Are they really getting rid of this? Okay, so the flat is still in play. So that means if they're really going to lose or bring it down, they're going to bring it down there. Now remember, the big players are okay playing here. They're not losing money. They're still in winning. They're still up. They didn't get out, but they're still up. And they played here, and they played a long game. This is a weekly chart. So they were buying since 2021 to 2023. They're okay paying all of that. Even at the top, they didn't want out. Does everybody get that so far? This is the last crypto we're going to do today. Use this to learn. They got in. They didn't get out. They're willing to pay this. A weekly chart over many years. 2021, 2023. 3 years they're buying. 2 years they're buying. Then there's the professional selling on the up bar into that weakness. So we're supposed to come down. As we said, they were going to come down. But we have to look for the buying. Buying happens on the down bar, the down move and the downtrend, with health in the background. Okay. Now we got this local health here, and we got here, but the buying needed to come in on these down bars. The problem, does anybody know the problem with this down move here? I'm going to hide these lines so we can simplify our thing. Somebody help me today. Help me find, now that we're here, where we're looking to get, somebody help me find where the buying is supposed to come in. Okay, so let's just draw some basic stuff. Let's draw our foundational line. Okay, and then what we're going to draw, we know there's some resistance here. The buying has to happen on the down bars, down moves within the downtrend, okay? So we need some high volume on those bars. Here we got some high volume bars, right? On these two areas. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this picture, though? There's maybe 2 or 3 things wrong with the high volume on these down bars. Let's identify 1 or 2. Okay. Okay. You circled that candle. Yeah, what's wrong with it? Okay, yes, this is one that's wrong. Okay. We're losing support. If there's buying here, we're still losing support by getting in under them. So that might be one that we're looking at. Okay. Loss of support. What's another one? There's a lot of things wrong with this candle. Somebody else. What's wrong with this candles? What's wrong with the volume here? The volume saying we're supposed to find it on a down bar. There's at least 2 or 3 things we can pick. Give me something else. Anybody got anything else? Long wick above, long wick under. Generally, that indicates what type of candle, what type of formation. Okay. The answer is shakeout. Shakeout. Shakeouts have these long wicks above and long wicks under. Now, we don't know if the buyers are losing yet, Arshad. We don't know yet. Okay. We're supposed to have buy-in here. We know overall that's the larger support, right? We already saw that months ago, way back when we first saw the professional selling. It was not my cup of tea for a short because of the amount of massive accumulation, but the accumulation is really low. So we're almost like in no man's land / a top. We already saw it. We already discussed that. That's really where we're supposed to come down. So yeah, we're supposed to come down. But if we're really hunting this for the bullish move, what do we need? What are the ingredients to make this cake? My wife makes cookies. She's cooking stuff all the time. She's making breads. The problem with my wife, guys, is that sometimes she substitutes ingredients that she don't got. She'll substitute baking powder for baking soda. She'll substitute sugar for salt. She substitutes things that she's not supposed to be substituting when she's missing the ingredients. I've had to caught her. Now she's gotten better over the years, especially in recent years. But she's been, don't let her know. Melody, edit this out. But she's like, there's no ingredients. What do you want me to use? Oh, God. So it's my fault I didn't buy the ingredients. The problem is, when she used to do this a lot, the food came out good because we're missing something. If we find out what we're missing, guys, we can go to the store and get it. We can avoid it. We don't have to waste our time cooking it. We can wait. Now Melody helped me to that the other day. She was like, I want to make some cookies. She said, I want to make some chocolate chip cookies, but I need some unsalted butter, and all we have is butter. I'm like, can't we use it? And she looked at me like, I'm like, okay, all right. So what did we do? We went out yesterday. There's cookies on the green screen. And we went out yesterday and we got some unsalted butter. I had to pay a high price for it. We weren't even at our local grocery store. It was like $7 for some butter. 7 something. It's highway robbery. Okay. But I got it because I wanted the cookies. The cookies come out good when you have the right ingredients. All right. Let that be a little reminder. So here we're supposed to have buying on the download, but the candles ain't looking right. Shakeouts are often a continuation indicator. We have to be aware. This is how we can kind of examine up close what we're actually looking at. Shakeout often a continuation indication. Okay. Indication. Not indication. Oh my gosh, who taught me how to spell? Indication. All right. So if we're going up before, or if we're going down before, and we see a shakeout, we're often going to come down further. Okay, so look for that. So us playing to the downside is okay. Now, the next one that we can see, we don't have. What else do we not have? What's missing for this crypto to go up? Anybody know? What else are we missing? Okay, point out anything. There's at least 3 things, maybe 4 or 5. If anyone can find me one more thing, I'll do the rest for you guys. But I'm not here as a trading service. I'm here as an educational service. Teach me how to fish. I can fish for a lifetime. Sit with me behind my shoulders, Jason. Show me how to read. What am I looking at? When you read it and you're actively participating, you're going to get better and better at reading. Because the market's conditions always going to change, but the major ingredients in making a cookie, they all agree on the same principle. The greatest mysteries of life are explained by various teachers. But because there's so much confusion, people don't understand. But the truth is they all agree on the same major principles. Okay, high volume. Okay. Well, we need so we still, yeah, that's one. That might be one. At the challenge area, we still have high volume. Does that mean the buyers are in control? No, the buyers are not in control. We still have high volume. So there's no absorption. So that's something we can ask. Lack of buyer control. That's fantastic. If the buyers can't control, it's only a matter of time sometime before they'll just lose. They need to have full control. Even if you go into health, you need that control. Otherwise, you're going to get weak bounces and you're going to come back down, as we saw today in many of our examinations today. Okay, good job. Let me give you guys some more. Here's number 4. No health. Where's the health? It's here. We don't got it. It's not there right now. It's not in play. So that's that. Okay. So we can see a few things. If we're really going to go up right now, we want that. How about number 5? Here's another one. Another shakeout bar on high volume. So the volume bars, where they're supposed to be so-called volume buying, is on these shakeout bars. Another thing about shakeout bars is if they're on high volume, you can't really tell if the volume's really from the selling part or from the buying part. Can you? Let me get you guys a better thing. There you go. You can't really tell if it's this side or that side because it's a shakeout bar. So is this really to be trusted as our breakout right now? Heck no. At the very least, we sit on our hands and we wait for the weakness, which is underneath here, underneath the flat. So this is how we'd want to navigate that. That's how I'd want to navigate that. I am leery. I'm saying, okay, we're at a support, but where's the money coming in? Because I can make a case of saying, yeah, the volume's on top. Now, if it's on the down bar like that, and I have the high volume, well, there's a different story, right? Here's the down bar right there. Oh, I just forgot. There's no players. Who's playing? Remember, we called this shot months ago, right? Months ago. This is a weekly chart. Back months ago, we said, hey, we're probably going to get down here, and then we want to see the buying. Where's the buying? If I don't see it, guess what? You probably don't got it. If you don't see it, guess what? You probably don't got it. Okay? So you got to be real careful of trying to interpret this as bullish behavior. What we're doing is without fancy indicators and a simple crayons on your crypto, we're breaking apart what you're really looking for. Okay? Another shakeout. We're breaking apart what's really happening behind the scenes. Okay, so let's draw number 5. Another shakeout. Number 6. Lack of buying. Lack of buying on down bar. Buying volume that we would need. So we're not just missing ingredients to make simple cake, to make some cookies. We're not the modern version of Melody that's really good at cooking. We're the old version when she just first came to America. Okay? We're Melody 1.0, and we need to be Melody 2.0. Okay. Melody's like, what? Just kidding, sweetie. Please don't kill me when you hear this later. All right. So this is why we don't want to trust the buying. Okay. Conclusions. Conclusion. Not collusion. Conclusion. I don't trust this support. No participation by the large players. Okay. Buying was supposed to come here at this area. So we're going to be looking for a weakness to come down. Okay. I'm not saying you're going to get it right now. You may not even get it. And it's a weekly chart. So it may not be my cup of tea. And again, with a crypto that has very, very large buying in the background, as we've seen before. Huge. I mean, it's just a massive, just massive. Okay. It just means they're probably going to want lower prices. They were supposed to buy. That would have been the best optimal place. They're probably looking at the market saying, oh, we're going to sit back on our hands and let this fall so we can get even more and gobble up even more. Now, if they're going to do that, where are we getting to? Okay. Well, one of the places we can probably look to get to is the DP of this angle. So let's look there first and see if we can grab the oscillations DP. All right, so I'm going to show you how I do that. Taking this oscillation, and then we're going to duplicate the distance. We're just going to measure it. So we'll use that one. Okay, and we're going to bring the street down, and then we're going to bring the angle down. And we're going to make sure they're lined up. This needs to be lined up here. Yeah, that still works. Okay, so then we're going to line this up. Okay, make sure this is all good and tight, approximately the same area. It raised up a little higher. Good. And what does it do for us? Well, what it does is it tells us the support is not far away. So you got one more chance for a support. So maybe they're waiting for the lower support is what they're going to be looking for. This is about the psychological area of support. It's a vortex, which means I'm going to have to move this back. I don't really want to take this in two separate events. There's almost no money involved. But here, there is. The price is still about the same, $258. But if I'm getting below $258, I'm probably going to be looking for this to fall. And this is going to be one that I'm going to probably look for a reversal on. I don't often look at a reversal. We may want to be looking to trade this back to the flat in a crash market. With the markets being in the position they are, if weakness continues, we'll get above 9s, stay above 9s. If we're building there for a while, we're probably going to see this fall, and then you're going to look for them to buy again. If they're buying again, and if there's local health, I want to take action. Otherwise, even if they're playing, they may not win. Okay, but if I see them buying again, that might be something I'm looking for. Or I'll see another scenario where we'll have a lack of interest into health. So that's going to be my big updates. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take our October report since it has the meat of what we need to know and update it. Update February 4th, 2026. Price indeed fell as predicted, with large selling in what was the round? In September, October. Price fell to the, what was the area we expected? The 2.8 area. What was it? 2.84. 2.84 area. Current price is 2.53. Still around the flat averages. The problem is we expected to see buying. We did not. We examined this on the weekly chart. We found shakeouts and we find shakeouts and no and the next major health is not in play, and the next local health is not in play. And by that I mean this down move here, guys. We need to be up here. We got this local one, but we came right back down and made a new low. So this is not going to be important to us right now. We need some moves. We'll just update these numbers for next week. It's somewhere around $3.40. So we need that. We don't got that. And then the foundational move is still not broken. Not broken into health. So I'm just going to borrow this and just put it right on top of the larger foundation shown in yellow. The larger foundational health shown in yellow, the yellow down move, is still in play. So we have to wait for bullish trades either way. At the time of this recording, as stated publicly in October 2025, the markets are bearish and should be bearish. currently, I don't see an end at the moment. It is possible this is the sentiment and reason why lack of buying is in this. The lower DP in white for the parabolic is basically now in February 2026 at 258 price area. If weakness continues below 2.58, I would be looking for this crypto to fall hard towards its support flat, where the original buyers entered. They bought hard. They bought hard at, and the multi-touch, the flat was, they paid anywhere from 96, but the flat where the accumulation average was back in 2021 into 2023 around 44. The conservatives, let me give you this whole flat range just to be safe. 0.48 cents to 0.41 cents. Remember, current price is $2.53. Where they bought hard for 2 years in 2021 and 2023. The flat is 48 to 41 cents. Remember, these players are not in a loss. They bought low. They did not exit. They are still in play. Price is still in profit for them. Therefore, it is possible at the flat there will be another large buying campaign. I would not therefore buy now with this current evidence, now that we are here. And I would be looking lower to see when they enter again. I may even short it. It's not my cup of tea, again, to short something that has that much in the background buying. But these guys are playing very aggressive, as we talked about in the previous video. So that's how I would be looking to get to. I would be looking to get there. Now, I have to reduce the opacity because it's not in play yet. But that's how I'm going to be looking at this. Okay, remember, massive, massive, massive buying. You guys can do your own homework or watch the previous videos as we talked about this. And that's going to conclude almost all I have for you guys today. Do we have any other questions about my report on Fluid? Fantastic. You guys did good work today. I like that we got to slow things down today. I really like that we got to slow things down, because that's the kind of stuff we want to do. Okay. All right. All right. With that said, I'm going to be right back for any final questions. God bless you. I'll flash USDT.D off on the screen as well. God bless you. Take care.